Today we discuss our next topic is impact of government change on business with special reference to liberalization, privatization, globalization in India. As a part of our economic reform, the government of India announced a new industrial policy in July 1991. Its main motive is to convert the LPQ into LPG. Here LPQ means L stand from licensing, P stand from permit and Q stand from quotas. Before 1991, every business, those who want to start any type of the business activity, they can get the license. They can get the permission. If the items are come under in a quota, then they can get the permission. If they want to deal a business outside our country, they can get a permission. So there are so many restrictions. Now the government introduced a new economic policy in 1991. They introduced LPG. Here LPG means liberalization, privatization and globalization. Liberalization means liberate the industry from shackling of the licensing system. Privatization means reduce the role of public sector, and globalization means encourage a foreign private participation in the industrial development. Now we discuss what factors are responsible for new economic policy. The first and the most important factor is economic development of the country. Second is economic structure in the mixed form, which recognize the role of public sector as well as private sector, both. The third main reason is economic policies of government, which they include industrial policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy. Fourth, economic planning, which they include 5-year plans, budget plans, annual budgets and so on. These are the few things which are the main factor to introduce a new economic policy. Now we discuss what is the main objective of a new economic policy. Our main objective is rapid economic growth and improve a standard of living. Second, we try to reduce the inequality of income and wealth and reduce a problem of unemployment and poverty. Now let's discuss meaning of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Here liberalization means freeing the Indian business and industry from all unnecessary control and restrictions. Means abolishing a licensing requirement, freedom in deciding the scale of business activity, removal of restriction on the movement of goods, freedom in fixing a price of the goods and services, reduction in tax rate. These are a main thing that are part of our liberalization. Now let's discuss a meaning of privatization. Here privatization means giving a greater role of the private sector in the nation building process and reducing the role of the public sector. To achieve this, the government introduced policy that is known as a disinvestment. Now, what is disinvestment? It means transferring the public sector enterprises into a private sector. It results in dilution of stake of the government in the public enterprises. Now, discuss a globalization. Here, globalization means integrating the various economies of the world. Till 1991, the government of India has allowed a policy of strictly regulating our import volume and volume trade. While taking an import, we take a license of import, tariff restriction, quantitative restrictions. But after taking a globalization, it involves increase in the level of interaction, interdependence among the various nations of the global economy. A truly global economy implies a boundaryless world where we can free flow of goods and services in a different nations, free flow of capital in a different nations, free flow of information and technology, etc. These are the part of our globalization. Now, let's discuss a broad feature of new economic policy. First feature is the government reduce the number of industries under the compulsory licensing system. Now, at present, only 3 industries are there. Second, many of the industries reserved from a public sector earlier now de-reserved. Now the role of public sector was limited only up to 4 industries. So they introduce a disinvestment. Here we can withdraw our money from a public sector and invest into a private sector. Next, automatic permission was now granted for the technology agreement with foreign countries, and they promote a new board which is known as Foreign Investment Promotion Board that channelize a foreign investment in India. These are the basic features while we introduce a new economic policy under the liberalization, privatization and globalization.